Hi, this is Zia and this is
Kamana, and welcome to Holistic Nomads TV,
where ancient wisdom and modern science can help you to have more clarity and energy in your life. Okay, welcome to another Q&A with me and Kimana, and today's topic for the Q&A is about detox, which is the part 2 of the Q&A detox.
Part 2 Q&A detox.
You ready?
I'm ready.
10 minutes.
Okay.
And the question for this session is all from one same person. He has so many questions, which is good. We love it because that shows that more people, especially you, Victor, are really interested to dive deeper and know more, learn more. So I'm going to turn on the, timer, starting from now. Okay, so first question. 2 weeks ago, I tried the Kitchari detox. I'm dominant in Vata, but also with a high Kapha, and it left me feeling so bad. I felt heavy, was constipated for days. I did not feel any hunger, but also no taste. I don't know why. I feel like I should detox after the detox. Can you address that?
Yeah, so there's a few things that could have happened. One of the challenges that can take place with Vata and Kapha is this coldness, which leads to like blockage and low circulation. I'd say this quality is what was not counterbalanced so well during your detox, and therefore it led to the elimination channels not opening up properly. So you said constipation would be one sign, but this may have been happening on a smaller scale throughout many of the channels of your body, things blocking and not moving through them so well. So that would need to be a highlight priority within your detox, would be looking at how we can make sure the channels of elimination are remaining open throughout the whole time, that you're only detoxifying to the point where your body can comfortably keep those channels open. Without having a consultation, which we've got you on the list for, Victor, we will be getting that time for you in the future. I'm not going to be able to get so specific, but as a general one, for most people, Triphala is the first thing that I would put with most detox programs, because Triphala enables the body to keep the channels of elimination open throughout the detox. It's very general. It may not be the most specific channel for you, Victor, but it does work a lot with the colon. And if there was one herb out of those three in Triphala, it would be Haritaki that's most specific for you. It works with Vata and Kapha. It really makes sure the colon is moving properly. So I'd introduce that within your Kitchari fast programs, and we'll see if some of your other questions and why get answered as we go through today.
Next question. As for the Kitchari for detoxification, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 7 days, first question, there are several about this one. What would be the ideal recipe and ideal spices for each dosha? Let's go through that first.
So different recipes for each dosha are really going to range, and it's not just based on the dosha. It's really based on the person and what they're going through and their own general conditions. So there's a few ways that we could do this. We could make one Kitchari that's just specific for you because you're doing it at home, you're doing it by yourself. And I'd probably start to look through some books to get some examples and try and figure out what works best for you. Here's some principles to work off within that. The first one is the ratio of basmati rice to split yellow mung beans. If we have more Vata, then we're going to increase the ratio of basmati rice and decrease the ratio of split yellow mung beans. Instead of it being even, half-half, we might be doing 2 parts basmati rice to 1 part of the split yellow mung bean. The split yellow mung bean it can have a grahani effect, they call it in Sanskrit, which means to slow the rate at which things eliminate. So for you, if there was constipation, and it might have been related to something else, not just the Kitchari, but we want to then try and help it with the Kitchari to decrease the ratio of legumes. I'd also be interested if you were experiencing much gas or other things. If there was more gas occurring, then maybe the way you're cooking the Kitchari needs to be improved as well. Maybe you need a pressure cooker. Are you using a pressure cooker when you're making the Kitchari to really make sure that the legumes have been cooked completely and all lectins have been reduced? Lectins could also contribute towards grahani, holding on, constipation and those things. So Vata, more basmati rice, less on the legumes. For Pitta, the even ratio between the legumes and the rice is more ideal. For Kapha, lower on the basmati rice, a little bit more on the legumes. In saying that, Kapha also can deal with the most soupy type kitchari, and one of your questions is about consistency of the kitchari, and the consistency really depends on the person. When I'm doing it with a group, the way I do it is I make a really big pot of it, and the top of it is quite watery and liquid, and the bottom is more thick that's there. Now, even to get the top watery and liquid, we have to have quite a watery kitchari. So some people, I'm telling them to go first and just get the broth, just get the soupy water, almost no rice, no legumes in what they're eating. They're eating the broth of it. And then other people are going for the thick, like me. My body goes into deficiency if I'm trying to do that for 7 days. I really need the thicker portion just to maintain my metabolism with Pitta and Vata. I'm burning a lot. I don't go into constipation on detoxes. I just burn up all my resources quickly. So everyone's different in which ratio works for them, and then individually I would select that, and that can change day to day, moment to moment, depending on where their body's at and what they need. So there's no simple answer on making it individualized for Vata, Pitta or Kapha. I've given you some principles around which to work with the rice and the legumes. And then the herbs would again be individualized. What part of elimination, digestion, other things are they needing more of? Are the kidneys needing to open and eliminate more fresh coriander, maybe a goksha or tea in between the two? Are the bowels needing to open more? Maybe a little bit of castor oil at night. All of these things would be adjusted to suit the person.
Next question, should you exclude vegetables or should we include some kind of veggies, especially if we feel out of balance?
I generally include some vegetables for most people, especially if Vata is involved. At the lunchtime, I will usually include vegetables. I try to pick vegetables that are very low allergy, so there's no chance of triggering an allergy during the program. I choose things like pumpkin. It'll be steamed and cooked well, and then I would eat a little bit of that on the side. Or it could be put into the kitchari and boiled amongst it as well. If all of the vegetables are boiled with the kitchari, it's not going to be as nourishing and satisfying as if the vegetable were steamed or baked and had with the kitchari. So that's generally the way that I will provide them. I will provide them as steamed broccoli for the Pitta and the Kapha type things that we need to get moving in the body, steamed pumpkin for the Vata nourishment, and then people could add that to the meal. So I'd try and pick 1 or 2 vegetables that you know are pretty good for you and healthy and are not going to have an allergy, and just keep it as that simple for the week.
Can we amplify the detox result if we first do a shankaprakshalana?
Shankaprakshalana is a yogic cleansing practice where we use salt water to cleanse out the whole digestive tract, and it involves a first part of drinking salt water and specific movements to open the valves, and then we purge down and out. We had a very loose movement. This opens up the liver and the gallbladder to some degree, and then after that we vomit up as well. We purge from the stomach going upwards too. So it's a bit of an intense procedure, the shankaprakshalana. I've done it before. I think that it can be great. I think that it's a little bit more of a crude yogic version of cleansing than some of the more refined versions that can be used within Ayurveda. So if you don't have much resources and your body's not going to go into deficiency that easily, I think the saltwater purge can be a great thing for you out in the wilderness or those places. In a home environment where you've got lots of resources, I think you're better off sticking with something more gentle and nourishing to your Vata, especially if not under supervision. I would say a gentle colonic is going to give you still great cleansing, keep the channels of elimination, increase the effectiveness of your cleanse, but without the chance of putting you into deficiency. I think starting a cleansing program with something like a shankaprakshalana might be like flushing out the area before we've necessarily moved the toxins to the area to be flushed. I'd prefer to do procedures moving the toxins to the liver, the gallbladder and the digestive system, and then use procedures that flush afterwards that might not be as much as the saltwater purge.
Last question. Are ground spices worse than whole?
Ground spices. Ground is seen as easier to digest in Ayurveda. The enzymes can come in contact with them and all of those things. So there's some benefits to having ground spices. Now we take that into the modern world where spices are often ground way ahead of time, left to oxidize and go old, and all of their aromatic properties are gone. So we're saying, see if we can find a medium ground between these two. We try to, where possible, buy whole spices and then grind them ourselves in a spice grinder. So we make our porridge in the morning, the spices are all put into the grinder the night before, it's just buzz in the morning and throw it into the porridge. So the spices are ready to go, they've been ground fresh, it really gives that quality. Me, with quite a strong, fiery Pitta digestive system, I sometimes just throw whole spices in, whole coriander, whole cumin seeds, rip off bits of cardamom pod and put that in. I'll still eat that and enjoy that quite fine for my digestive system. So I think it's about finding what works for you. I would avoid the old ground spices that have very little smell and are probably from large commercial companies. And I'd find a medium ground between what's realistic, grinding your spices. My nutmeg, as an example, I grind that at least a month to 2 months worth into a container and use that over that period. That's probably fine. Find a nice medium ground there, Victor. Find the ideal and search for the realistic as well.
I think that's a really important principle when it comes to applying Ayurvedic knowledge. And I think everything in life is that we know what's ideal, and then especially when we first learn, we just like, this needs to be like that, I'm gonna change, I'm gonna apply everything. But that's actually the recipe of not doing it at all. In the end, it's like, oh my god, it's so far from where we are. And that's why I always like when you say to your clients or your students about like, this is the ideal, take just one by one what's really easy to be applied in your life, and then after that done, and then you can choose another one. So this is another great example about spices.
There's many goals in life and health is one of them, and we find the realistic between the ideal and the rest of our life.
If you would like to learn more about the topic of detox, we have a whole playlist about that. And if you want to learn more about Panchakarma, or also known as Ayurvedic Detox Retreat, in the link below there is a whole episode with Kimana explaining the difference between Ayurvedic detox and the other type of detox. Anything else you would like to add?
Great to share with you all. Look forward to next week. If you're interested to help others heal holistically, or just wishing to have more control in your own self-care, check out the programs I've created on Ayurvedic.com. We've brought together some of the world's best holistic healers, teaching people what I consider to be the 6 most important branches of health and healing. Really hope to see you there in the future so that you too can share this wisdom with the world. Namaste.
Now, theory without practice is wasteful because hearing leads to forgetting, teaching leads to remembering, and applying leads to mastering. That's why we will encourage you to leave a comment below and share one learning insight from this video. Also, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe so you will be the first to hear about our future educational videos. And for more resources on health and healing, check out our website holisticnomads.com. There you will find articles, quizzes on Ayurveda, loads of free downloads, and of course, our future educational events and courses. Thank you so much for watching. We hope it's been beneficial for you. Hope to see you next week. Bye! Pilih kalau mau tepuk tangan gitu. Bukan, tenang. Okay.